Do you think, Pastor Pierre, that it is an, an, an unconscious error that pastors make? That, and I'm speaking on behalf of colleagues who are probably going through the very same thing, right?
Hmm.
Do you think
Hmm.
that it is an unconscious error that they make, thinking that God is going to just take care of my family while I go take care of the flock? And what message do you have now from your experience that you can share with them to be a little more mindful of such error?
The first thing I would tell them is that their first church is their home. Um, if we take care of home, um, then we're better able to be able to take care of the flock.
Mhm.
Um, there are some assurances that families need. I also believe that our organization can be better at being able to provide resources so that families that minister will be able to do so. And in the event that they have troubles that come, that there are places and resources that are made available for them so that they and their families will be okay. It's not an easy thing. Um, the unfortunate thing about us as pastors, especially when we are much younger, I am in my 38th year of ministry now. And in my 38 years, um, I'm I'm up now between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning having my worship. And then I'll start looking at some news and then I'll doze back off. Um, because if there I realize now that more than any other time is that I need God. And when he wakes me up at that time, I know that it's for my good.
Mhm.
The thing that I would say to young workers now, or to workers period, is um, we cannot be all things to all people. God has given his church more than enough resources, and I'm talking about human resources as well, to be able that we can lean on and be able to help the church to grow and thrive, because we don't have the expertise at every level.
Mhm.
Um, we have we have we have workers who are trying and attempting to give counsel when they themselves are struggling, and they have need themselves. And the unfortunate thing is that we can get to the point where we can fill people with our own emptiness.
Mm.
And when we fill people with our emptiness, it's no wonder that we see some of our people start to, I mean, continue to struggle more so because we ourselves are trying to find our own way. I
Mhm.
asked God the other day, why did it take me all this time for me to be able to finally learn the lessons that he's been trying to teach me? And forgive me for how I put this. Y'all can edit it out if you want to. But this is how, my father always used to say, he said, a hard head to make a soft behind. And there are some lessons. And my father used to tell me all the time, he said, David, if you just listen to what I say, he said, David, it'll save you a lot of heartache and pain. But
Mhm.
I thought I knew better than my dad,
Mhm.
only for me to find out is that what he gave me were words of wisdom. I didn't have to learn it that way,
Mhm.
but I'm glad I learned the lesson. I just hate that I had to learn it the way that I learned it.
Okay. But where do you draw the line, though, Pastor Pierre, in terms of understanding that you can't be all things to all people, yet at the same time, for example, we are going through a very unprecedented time as a church, as a world, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the
Yes.
COVID thing we're going through. Where do you draw the line that you do not appear as a pastor who just does not care or who's not giving enough to his or her members?
That's something that that's something that has to happen individually. I had to learn where to be able to say to our people, I don't know, but I can find out. And then I also had to learn to tell our folk too, is I have somebody that can help you better than I can. And see, but I had to learn that piece because at one time I didn't want our people to know that I didn't know, not knowing that it's okay to let our folk know that I don't know and let me go find somebody. But I had to grow to that. God put me around some other mentors that taught me better so that I will be able to come to where I am now. Some of them have passed away. Some of my best mentors, he has dementia now, and I can't prick his brain anymore. When he used to share some things with me, I never forget one of my mentors, Dr. Charles Joseph. He was president for Lake Region at one time. Ella Joseph came down and he spent a week with me when I was pastoring Tabernacle. And he was doing some things for us. And I never forget, he and we were just out riding prior to him coming to Tabernacle for me. We were riding in Chicago one day, and he just looked at me and he said, boy, you talk too much. And I looked at him, I said, what did I do? He said, no, you talk too much. He said, learn to ask a question and quit making comments. He said, if you ask a question, people cannot accuse you of making comments. And then he said, and then quit asking questions to try to prove the person to be a liar. He said, people already know that they're lying. He said, ask your question and be quiet. And then he told me, he said, quit fighting for everybody because people are using you to fight for them. And then when you get in trouble, they're leaving you out there by yourself. He said, David, you talk too much. Learn to be quiet. And I said to him, and I said, yes, sir, I understand. And so when I came to being assistant to the president with President Mack, there are times I sat with him, and as we were having conversations, and I would look at him and I say, may I ask a question? And he would look at me and he would start smiling because he knew then, because I shared with him what Ella Joseph shared with me. And he said, P, he said, I see your mind clicking. And I said, well, I just want to be able to ask a question. And so it becomes an individual thing, Sister George, to where every person has to know what their limitations are and be willing to acknowledge it and say, okay, I'm able to go this far and no further. And that it's also okay to acknowledge your limitations, and your people will love you and respect you for it if you're willing to acknowledge it, because your people also know when you don't know.